Welcome to Baseball Money is Fake, a fantasy baseball podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am Blake Meyer, who forgot to unmute his microphone like I was supposed to, and then the button wouldn't work. But I am Blake Meyer, and I am here, and it is episode 98. It's crazy to believe we are almost at episode 100 already. Such a wild thing to say out loud, especially, we started this last September, and here we are, man. It's July, almost to 100. It's looking like probably the beginning of August we're going to hit that magical triple digit. But as always, I am here with my man Ryan Gilbert. How you doing today, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm doing good. We got some actual trade season is upon us. Dodgers got Hernandez back. Now they traded for another outfielder. We're getting to that. Trade rumors should be heating up here. We're going into the final weekend. It's weird being, I think trade deadline's on Tuesday. It's weird not being like a Friday or not being like the 31st exactly, but it's less than a week away now. So this is when the activity should pick up.
And it's crazy to think the first bigger trade. Kike Hernandez was traded. That's not crazy news. Like, he's not the most fantasy relevant
there
player,
was talk he would be like DFA'd when Story came back.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It is what it is there. But Ahmed Rosario, just like right before we started recording this, got traded from the Cleveland Guardians to the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I did not see coming. He got traded to the Dodgers, and in return, the Cleveland Guardians got Noah Syndergaard. Absolute fireballer, prime of his career. Yeah, right. Noah Syndergaard. I don't even know why he got traded. I can't imagine the Guardians have much use for him, even with Shane Bieber going to the 60-day DL. Syndergaard doesn't seem to have much left in the tank as a starter. But Ahmed Rosario makes for an interesting piece going forward because he plays shortstop, plays a little second base. Depending on what platform you play on, he has both eligibilities and
outfield too. Does he?
And outfield. I think so. He might, depending where you play.
He is outfield, yeah.
Got some speed, not a lot of power. He can hit for an okay average. How do you feel about Ahmed Rosario moving forward?
Yeah. It's he's probably looking pretty good in LA. He's not great. He's rostered in 61% of leagues, which is a lot more than I thought he was. I guess because it was kind of high expectations coming into the season, and he's a second base or shortstop outfield on Yahoo. So those are two, kind of shallow or outfield shallow. But yeah, I think, the Dodgers here are just kind of changing up their vibes. Like Kike Hernandez is not going to be a game-changing player, but I already saw a video of him dancing in the dugout, getting the guys going before the game. That's the stuff that he brings. And Rosario bringing over another guy like that, someone who be lighting up the clubhouse a little bit, change things up. And it shows the team that they're doing something. They're not going to go out and get Ohtani. That's possibly the offseason. They're not going to make the huge trade, but they're following the Braves 2021 blueprint so far. This trade for 3 different guys. I think they got Duvall or Soler, Jock Peterson, and someone else, Eddie Rosario, that season, and they went on to win the World Series. So, and the Dodgers have Kershaw coming back possibly in a few weeks. So they're still the Dodgers. People kind of wrote them off a little bit with the Padres advancing, Giants being there. People didn't take the Diamondbacks seriously, but yeah, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers, and they have that good hitting, good pitching, that they're good.
Yeah, and Rosario's coming off a year where last year he was a pretty decent fantasy piece. He had 26 doubles, 9 triples, 11 home runs, and he hit 283, which is a second best batting average of his career. Now, he's only hitting about 265 this year. He's only got 3 home runs, not much else in terms of other extra base hits, but he's got 9 stolen bases, so he's likely to hit double digits. Do you see him having any utility in 10 or 12 team leagues, or do you think he's just going to be mainly a 15 team and deeper league guy moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think he's really too fantasy relevant. I don't know where he's going to fit in the Dodgers lineup if he even starts. I have to imagine he'd start if they traded for him, but maybe he bats bats leadoff, bats second up there with Betts, Freeman, and can get on base and maybe get some more runs. So I guess wait to see where he starts batting, where if he starts playing a lot, like see that before diving right in. But I mean, this does improve his stock if anything.
Do you think it does anything for Noah Syndergaard, or is he still just going to be kind of a washed up, don't roster him type of guy?
I guess he might have more chances because the AL Central is a worse division, so might have better streaming options. Maybe when they go against Kansas City, or I think there's worse teams in the AL than NL. I could be wrong, but yeah, Noah Syndergaard 7.16 ERA this season, 38 strikeouts and 55 innings. So yeah, that would be a big stay away for me.
Yeah, and I think he gave up Ellie's first home run as well. Just an
Probably he
absolute
was giving up
fucking
home runs to
tank
everybody.
job. Yeah, I think at one point he had like a 7 ERA, which is a big time fall from grace from
Yeah.
a guy that was once thought to
I
be one of the best pitchers
imagine
in baseball.
Yeah, looking at the Dodgers lineup, actually, I imagine Rosario could play shortstop for the Dodgers. Possibly, they have Rojas there now, and yeah, he's
Mm.
not going to hit top of the order. The top of the order is Betts, Freeman, Martinez, and then Muncy or Taylor. They have those top guys up there, plus Will Smith. So he's not going to hit in the top half of the lineup. So that does knock his value a bit, but he has a chance to pick up those runners that are left on base if someone hits a double, someone just moves him over. So, yeah, I still think it's a net positive for him.
I tend to agree on that one. And then, I mean, sticking in that NL West, the San Francisco Giants have called up Marco Luciano, top prospect. I think he was a top end guy. He was a top 100 guy for sure, but I think he snuck into the top 30 before he just got called up. He's a shortstop, 6'1", 178, so he's got a decent frame. And if you check out his Fangraph grades, a lot of power. He projects 70 grade raw power and 60 grade game power, which is a big time bat for a middle infield spot. Now, his hit tool is not the best. I know this year in AAA, he had a 30% strikeout rate. He was hitting 292, 30% strikeout rate. And the same thing happened in AA in 56 games, 30% strikeout rate. And he only hit 228. But he did have 13 home runs so far in 62 games, which is pretty damn good overall. Where would you slot Luciano into your rankings? I know we just did a rankings episode last episode. You guys can go check that out. But moving forward, do you see him as like a top 10 guy, top 15, top 20 at the position type of shortstop?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stat I saw. I guess it might be here in the since June 10th. He's been scorching hot in 113 plate appearances, 26 games. He hit 306, 416 slugging, or 416 on base percentage, 564 slugging, with 6 doubles, 6 home runs, 18 walks, and 32 strikeouts. Mostly Double A. Only been in Triple A for about a week, it looks like. So, yeah, I don't not rushing out to add him. I saw on Yahoo a lot of people are adding him. 10,000 people added him today. So yeah, he's batting 8th tonight, it looks like, in his debut against Oakland. Yeah, maybe he has a little bit of pop, but shortstop is just so deep that he's only, I think, relevant in like NL only or 15 team or deeper leagues if it had like middle infield.
Yeah, it gets really hard with these guys that get called up later in the year like this when they play these kind of overstocked positions, because yeah, it's awesome that he got called up, but I mean, we also live in a time now where Carlos Correa like isn't really necessarily rosterable in a 12-team league. And if Carlos Correa is like kind of like a fringe waiver wire guy, Luciano is not just going to come up and be like an automatic must start rest of the season shortstop. Now, if that power does translate over, then we got a problem on our hands, because then we've got a shortstop that could hit 12 home runs for the rest of the season or 13 home runs for the rest of the season. And that becomes like some pretty good find in the middle. He has been primarily a fly ball hitter, and we love our pole hitting fly ball hitters, which could play well, but I mean, San Francisco Haters home park. So yeah, if it's deeper than a 12 team, kind of like we were just talking about with Rosario, if it's deeper than a 12, I mean a 12 team, I guess maybe I'd take a flyer if you have an extra spot on your bench, but even then I'm hesitant right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch them at all. If you want to see those rankings or you want to hear our old episodes, you can subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to our Substack, fakebaseball.substack.com. I got all that stuff on there. Blake's going to be uploading his rankings, and I am going to be we're going to upload those episodes there, our old clips. So make sure you check those out. And we're also brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. Do your part in the war against corporate gambling and sign up for the SGP Patreon. Ton of exclusive content, contests, and merch just for our patrons. Plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast, an ad-free, uncensored show highlighting the best stories from decades of being at DGens. There's even a Discord channel just for patrons. The Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon is a great way to score exclusive perks and support SGPN. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And I see you have a question here. I have something else, Blake, to bring to you. I am bringing back In Lars We Trust. In Lars We Trust here. Here we go again. We're heading into August. August is Lars Nootbaar month. It just is. He's heating up. He homered today. I think he went 3 for 4. Get in on Lars Nootbaar while you still can. But you can get to the question.
No, I mean, I just want to say I'm so in Lars We Trust still. And so there's been a lot of like trade rumors between the Mariners and the Cardinals and things like that. And one thing that I saw earlier was a report that the Cardinals want to make a play for Logan Gilbert. And that trade would center around Nootbaar plus
Nootbaar and J-Rod and Teoscar in that lineup with Suarez and that big boy forward there. Oh, that's JP Crawford leading off. You gotta love it, top to bottom.
Dude, I would be so fucking happy if Nootbaar comes here. I'm buying a Nootbaar jersey. I don't even care if he's just here for the last half of the year. I'm buying a jersey. But Anthony said Soler and Rosarena are killing me. I don't know what to do. Thinking of dropping Soler. Thoughts on these guys? I know this isn't probably what you want to hear, but you got to ride it out with both. They're both too good to be dropped, even in a 10-team league. I think Soler's got like 26 home runs on the year, and he's a second half player too. So he could very likely hit 18 more home runs for the rest of the year. And my big rule of thumb when it comes to dropping guys, well, first of all, I'm sorry, a Rosarena you got to ride out.
may have just been like a hot month looking at his numbers. It's he had 12 home runs in May, 5 in April and March, 5 in June, and now 2 in July in 19 games. Like he has cooled off a ton. I don't know if something's happened to his swing. I don't know if he has a nagging injury, but yeah, I didn't think he was worth dropping, but now looking like closer at it, he hasn't been good. He has 1 home run in the past 14 days, hitting 154, 3 home runs past 28 days, 22 games, hitting 220. He could be worth dropping depending who's out there. I mean, it depends who you're replacing him with. Like if it's a standard 12-team league and you might have some guys available, it's a maybe. If it's a 10-team league, probably. But yeah, it really depends. I'm not sure if you can comment who you'd be dropping. We can answer that. But yeah, I would consider dropping him.
He said I could try trading him, but I think it's too late to trade. Most standard trade deadlines are like August 17th. To leave, so you got a little time. I tried to trade him first because Soler falls into that category of player where if you drop him, somebody else is going to pick him up. And I don't like dropping up people like that.
Use him as a sweetener.
Yes.
Do a 2-for-1 with Soler to upgrade somewhere.
Good sweetener. And then Uncle Ted, the man is back again. He said pick one: Torkelson, Tristan Casas, or Kirilloff rest of the season. Never thought I would say this at the beginning of the year. I'm going Torkelson, although Casas has been
Casas. I'm going Casas. Over the past 14 days, 10 games, hitting 433 with 5 home runs in the past 36 plate appearances. 5 home runs and 30 at-bats. 2 home runs in the past 16 at-bats over the past 5 games, not including today. Not sure what he did today, but yeah, I think I'm going Casas.
Anthony, DM me, and I will hit you with a list of names to do there. But there's big news in the baseball world. If you're a Mariners fan, Cade motherfucking Marlowe has been called up. I know he's not like a household name, so like hyping him up a lot more than a lot of people probably think I should be. But he is somebody that had some hype coming into the season in the minors for the Mariners because our minor league hitters aren't necessarily the most robust. But he offered an interesting combination of power and speed. And with Kelnick going down, we needed somebody to help fill in an outfield spot. So they called up Cade Marlowe from Tacoma. And he was supposed to just platoon with AJ Pollock in the outfield. And then AJ Pollock went on the injured list. So now Cade Marlowe is, I mean, he's just the man in the outfield. His fielding's not that great if you watched the game yesterday. He took such a bad line on a ball that ended up being a double off the wall. But other than that, I mean, he's played 4 games so far. He's hitting .333 with a home run and 2 RBI. He walked twice today. He has also got a double. He's doing a little bit of everything. And at the minor league level, this year he had 11 home runs and 25 stolen bases in 69 games. Last year he had 23 home runs and 42 stolen bases. He's really worked on his plate discipline. So he's had a double-digit walk rate at essentially every level of the minor leagues. And now he's got an 18% walk rate in 4 games so far. Again, he's a deeper league guy. I can't tell you to pick him up in a 12-team league, although he is now batting every day, but he's a bottom of the lineup guy, which hinders this value. And he's kind of a wild card. You don't know what he's going to be, but there's some value there. So if you need a 5th outfielder, if you're in a 15-team or deeper league, if you're in an AL-only league, Cade Marlowe is somebody that you should pick up that's very low rostered right now, like under 5% on ESPN rostered. And he deserves some looks in those deeper leagues.
He is 1% rostered in Yahoo. He's available in all 3 of my leagues. Maybe I'll take a look if he impresses in Arizona or over the next week. But yeah, I mean, if you're in a deeper league or like a dynasty league and you want to take a chance and you're out of it, yeah, I don't hate that at all. But the more I think about it, the more I love Nootbaar in Seattle. I really do. I think him really going anywhere, getting a change of scenery, hearing from different voices about like how to tweak his swing, maybe like Ken Griffey Jr. comes in as like, oh, and gives him the tip, or just anybody, like a new voice says the right thing to him and it just clicks for the whole season. Like it clicked for several weeks last season. So he has the potential. So I really like that.
Hear me out. You want to like it even more? So Nootbaar played for Japan in the World Baseball Classic.
Oh,
guess
yes,
who works closely with the Mariners organization? Ichiro. That man is around the team everywhere, helping people hit, play the field better, everything. So if you bring Nootbaar in to team up with Ichiro to get like some hitting tips whenever he wants, I might melt that. Oh, that would make my fantasy baseball heart so happy.
Did you see that Ohtani said, A-Rod said that Ohtani to Seattle makes a lot of sense?
I'm here for it.
It really does.
Agree.
I mean, there are people be like, oh, I don't know if he wants to go like after Ichiro. Like people might be like, oh, are you trying to like challenge him or try to like challenge his legacy or whatever? But it would be great, like following it kind of in his footsteps a little bit. And yeah, it's on the West Coast there. It gives them, it would be another like superstar with J-Rod and, whoever else comes up through that system. That'd be fantastic. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Ohtani, whether it be this week or this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually the with Seattle initially was because of Ichiro. It's like a legacy thing in the Japanese culture. He didn't want to like overstep Ichiro out here, so he signed elsewhere because we were like one of the final 2 teams that he was going to sign with. Didn't come here, but Ichiro has since talked to him. Apparently that was the report, and told him that he is completely okay with Ohtani wanting to come here if he does come here. And so if that was the only thing holding back Ohtani before, it seems like a realistic chance. The Mariners are not going to trade for him. First of all, the Angels are not going to trade Ohtani in the division. But when it gets to the offseason, if he actually is a free agent and doesn't get re-signed wherever he gets moved to, there's a real chance that he could come to Seattle.
Yeah, no, I'm like just have like this whole press conference like with him and Ichiro, and like Ichiro, there's like a passing of the torch, and it would be fantastic. Like that would be fun to say. It would make the Mariners a very, very fun team, as if they're not already.
And
go ahead. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season's right around the corner, and Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props. It's available in a ton of markets, plus plenty of opportunities to win in their daily MLB contest. And of course, make sure to enter Best Ball Mania 4, where first place gets $1 million. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
All right, so something else we need to touch on is there is some big name players that are back and coming back. First one would be Aaron Judge is reportedly supposed to come back and join the Yankees on Friday at the start of their series with the Baltimore Orioles. But they did say barring any setbacks, which does make me kind of nervous because
They
who
have to
says
say
that?
that. They have to, because what if they announce he's coming back and he doesn't come back and everyone loses their shit?
But see, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of jaded by the Yankees. I don't believe anything they say. They said the same thing about Rodon. Rodon was supposed to come back barring any setbacks for like 8 weeks. And so it's just, it would be one thing if it was like Monday and they said, oh, he's going to rejoin the team on Friday, barring any setbacks, because there's still like a week's worth of time pretty much between when he comes back. It's literally like 36 hours until he's supposed to join the team. What setback could happen unless there's still something happening with Judge right now that they don't want to just come out and say? Because the Yankees right now they're in like salvage any form of anything for the season mode. And so any hope that they can give the fan base to get them to cool out and chill and think like, okay, maybe we could get some decent baseball back here. We got Carlos Rodon sucking and blowing kisses to fans when he walks out the field. Like, we need some kind of Aaron Judge hope. So we'll have to see. If he does come back, though, he has been an even better version of himself this year than he was last year.
Where does he go in your rankings? We just did it. People just listened. People are listening now. The news happened. Where does he go?
So he was number 6 in my rankings before. I had said
right. You had him way too high. You were way too optimistic about him coming back. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, outfield rankings, I'm going to say probably 4 rest of the season. If he's coming back a fully healthy Judge on Friday.
I still
4.
have Acuna, Betts, Tatis, Carroll, and Tucker definitely in front of him. I kind of have Joyride in front of him just because I trust him to have a better second half, but Judge probably goes up to that him and that's 6. And then that's where Judge goes.
I like that.
Where you had him pretty much. Yeah.
Sneaking a little
you convinced me, Blake.
I gotcha. It's only a matter of time. Sneaking a little J-Rod nugget in there. I know he's had like a massive back-to-back games that everybody's kind of got their eyes on him now. In his last 8 games, he has 21 batted ball events. 13 of them have gone for 100 miles an hour or more. That is absurd. And then like another 3 of them have gone for 94 to 99 miles an hour. He's like making crazy contact right now. He's getting pretty unlucky. The batting average still isn't there. I mean, 3 for 5 today, 2 for 5 yesterday. The home runs and the doubles, so the extra bases are coming around. The stolen bases have always been there. So if he can really pick it up these last couple months of the year, there's a lot of people that picked him, obviously, probably first 4 picks of a draft. He hasn't quite lived up to that this year. He hasn't had a terrible season. He just hasn't lived up to the hype that everybody had. This could be the version of him that we get the rest of the year that does live up to that hype and makes you kind of forget about everything that happened earlier in the year. I would much rather have a guy peak at the end of the season, like when we get into the real playoff push and when we get into the playoffs and the championship and all that, than peak at the beginning of the year and just kind of fizzle out as the year goes on. So if J-Rod keeps making this kind of contact, I mean, he might shoot up to a top 3 outfielder for me again. And right now I think I had him at 8. So it'd be a big jump for him. And speaking of jumping,
I just want to say I'm very excited about those Julio Rodriguez stats there. So I am going to go try to buy him in my leagues. So thank you.
You're welcome. I traded for him a couple weeks ago, and it had been looking grim for me in my home league. I traded I don't even remember. I traded Adolis Garcia and Joe Musgrove for Julio, and that had not been panning out in my favor. But this is making up for it
Look
right
at this.
now.
Look at this baseball savant page. Love baseball savant. Average exit velocity is in the 94th percentile. Expect max exit velocity 97th. Hard hit percentage, hard hit rate 92, 92nd percentile. 69th percentile expected batting average. Expected WOBA 60th. So yeah, he's still good, and it's only a matter of time before he gets his power back.
Yeah, and it just needs to get a little luckier. Like that expected batting average is nice, but I think he's only hitting like 240 on the season. I think his expected batting average is like 265, so like 25 points higher. So even if he does end the year hitting 265, he's still a 30-30 threat, which is probably going to happen. Corbin Carroll, I know, just broke the 20 home run, 30 stolen bases a rookie platform, or whatever you want to call it. Which J-Rod did last year, and Bobby Witt Jr. So it's a lot of upside there at the top of the outfield rankings. And that also leads us into another guy towards the top of the outfield rankings. Yordan Alvarez is back for the Houston Astros. Same with Jose Altuve. No rehab assignment for him. He's just flat out back. I know we just discussed Yordan yesterday. I think I had Yordan at, oh God, I can't even remember now off the top of my head, 7. I think I had him for the rest of the year. More than likely, he's just strictly DH rest of the year. They're not going to stick him in the outfield at all.
Did they say that, or is that you speculating?
That's me speculating, because I think that's his second injury this year. And at this point, 2 injuries deep, they're probably going to try and mitigate the risk on his body and not have him have to play in the outfield. I would think, kind of like the White Sox tried to do with Eloy, and then Eloy just told him no. So who knows how that's going to go. But
yeah, he is DHing tonight. So I mean that makes sense with they have Tucker, McCormick, and Jolks. Jolks is really good. He could probably hold on that spot.
I'm a little bummed for, I've said it a couple times now, Yanier Diaz. I think he's going to be the one that takes a ding in his playing time with Yordan.
I think
back.
if Jolks cools off, maybe he fills in there.
He could, because he was like kind of a sneaky waiver wire buy that we've been pushing out there for a couple weeks. Still very low rostered. He's got the catcher eligibility as well, which is cool. And he'd been like a pretty consistent source of power and decent batting average. So obviously somebody like Yordan coming back, none of those other guys matter, because Yordan is Yordan and he's going to get his spots. But I don't even know.
Yordan or Juan Soto?
Oh, Soto.
Okay.
Soto's got his pot back. He's got his pot back. So I like Soto more
Yordan
now than I have.
or Luis Robert.
Yordan.
That's my exact order. I have Yordan 9, I have Robert 10, I have Soto 8, J-Rod 7. Yeah, that's Randy, Adolis, Yelich, all those guys Yordan over them. Yelich homered again yesterday, though.
He's the man, dude. Like, we talked about him yesterday. Like, I was already doing the research. I already fell in love with him more going into yesterday's episode. But like, the more that I've thought about it since then, and like, I edit the audio, so like I listen back to everything. And like, when I was listening back to us talking about him again, I just fell more in love with Yelich. And if anybody from my home league is listening to this, you're probably going to get a trade offer from me for Christian Yelich, just because I mean, I said I had him at 15, I think, yesterday, or 13 in my outfield rankings. I'm so close to just putting him at 10.
I think he's still around there. Jolis Garcia, Randy Rosarina. Yelich might be better than them.
Yeah.
He might be.
Especially, I think Adolis is hurt right now, which would give Yelich
no, I think he was back. Oh, there was also a Mike. I think there was a Mike Trout update I saw. Yesterday he went through some running drills.
Good when your hand is hurt.
He has a wrist injury, so maybe he's just restless. So
yeah. He got bored, so he just went for a little jog and they had to update it. Yeah. Trout will be the interesting one when he comes back, because there's a lot of upside, but also a lot of downside. If you guys want to hear us break that down a little more, check out yesterday's episode 97 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube. Fake Baseball Money. Like, we got episodes everywhere. We're on like 25 different podcast streaming platforms. So pretty much if you could think of one, you're gonna find us on there. You can just look us up, Fake Baseball Money. And then the last guy to talk about for the episode would be Jose Altuve. Again, guys with a lot of upside.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, we recorded this last night, or we recorded this before this episode, and so we already did some second base rankings, but we didn't really include Altuve. We don't think Altuve is coming back soon. So, where do you have Altuve rest this season? He was just activated without any rehab assignment.
I can tell you right now,
Because I didn't have him top. I didn't have him top 10, and
really?
I think now. I just completely forgot about him. So I think he's right now probably 5, 6.
He's spent a lot more of the year hurt than I think a lot of people realize, which has kind of really dinged his value. And the main reason I know that is because I traded him right before he got hurt the fucking first time. And he's hardly even played in my lineup. I have him number 3 for the rest of the year, but I'm likely going to change that probably to 5.
Betts,
right now I have
Albies.
Yep. Mine's going to go Betts, Simeon, Albies, Ketel Marte, and then Jose Altuve right after that.
Gleyber, Horner, no love for those guys.
I got Gleyber at 6.
Luis Arias hitting 400. No love for him.
Gleyber at 6.
He's not actually hitting 400.
I really wanted him to. I have Gleyber at 6, Horner at 11, Luis Arias at 12 right now. But I'm hesitant on Jose Altuve because he's good. Obviously, he's put up good numbers this year. But the problem is, I was already skeptical on Altuve coming into the year just because he's a 5'4" pull hitting fly ball hitter with an 86 mile an hour average exit velocity, which shouldn't play as well as it does. And so now that you put all of that into context, plus the fact that he's like 35 years old. I mean, I'm 35, so it's like, man, he's really young, you know, but like baseball wise, he's older, and now he's got back-to-back injuries thrown into the mix as well. A lot of his upside comes from that sneaky power that he gives you. I'm concerned if he still has that power. He obviously still has the speed a little bit. So yeah, I think 5th is a safe spot for me. If he struggles, he'll probably drop to 8th below Gleyber and Muncy on my list.
Okay, so you're Muncy like 6 or 7.
I got Muncy 7.
Okay. So this is for Talon Jenkins, co-host of the Hockey Gamin podcast. He had a question for me, and he wanted me to pose it to you as well. If you're a hockey fan, make sure you check that out. I'm on that with Talon Jenkins and Joel Meyer, 2 Canadian fellows who are quite fun. So check that out if you're a hockey fan or a fan of me. But the question is, or he said, players 35 and older should be able to use steroids. What do you think? You agree?
I agree. I mean, see, this is the hard part. Nobody hate me for this. Obviously, the steroid era saved baseball.
Absolutely.
I grew up. Barry Bonds was my favorite baseball player ever. He's still my favorite baseball player of all time. Should be in the Hall of Fame.
We got to discuss it. We just need a Barry Bonds episode then.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
that is weird. That is weird.
Growing up, I used to collect every single Barry Bonds card that I would pull out of packs, and then I would spend hours and hours.
Okay, well, save it for the Barry Bonds special.
I'll save it.
That one might be for subscribers only of the Substack. So fakebaseball.substack.com. We'll have some fun shows like that, and we do some. We should do. You know what we should do? We should do card breaks.
I'm so down for that.
Break some cards. I know you love some cards, so I figured you'd love that.
I do. Yeah, but yes, Talon, I agree with you. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that, but that's a very Talon-esque question too. Like, I'm not surprised that he asked that.
I love it too. My take is, it's out there, but if there was a league that were just like, okay, players can take whatever they want, and like they know the risks, they know the risks of what they're doing to their bodies, like let them do it. Like just have like one league like that. And people are like, oh, just have an Olympics like that. People suggest, like it's obviously the morality of it is not great, but it would be fun. It would be fun for people.
I mean, it was honestly the funnest era in baseball, and it's hard to. It's hard to say otherwise, just because who does? Everybody loves home runs. Everybody loves home runs. So when you have Sammy Sosa
I
and
love a
Mark
triple.
McGuire
I
fighting
love a
it,
triple.
you would love a triple.
Oh, man.
Fucking boring ass Brandon Nimmo motherfucker. But anyways, make sure
I
you
don't
guys check
run
us
to
out.
first base on walks.
You use them long ass legs to walk to first base. Make sure you
Yep.
guys check us out on YouTube at Fake Baseball Money, at on Twitch as well at Fake Baseball Money. Dude, we are everywhere. It's getting hard to keep up with all of it. Follow us on Twitter at Fake Baseball. Check us out on all of the podcast streaming platforms. Again, we are on over 25 different podcast streaming platforms. Go check that out. And if you guys could subscribe to our YouTube, that would be amazing. We're trying super hard to build that up. We're finding different ways to grow ourselves on different platforms, and that goes a long way to kind of helping us continue to grow, get our names out there more, and those sorts of things. You can check out our writing content at fakebaseball.substack.com. Check it on the bottom right there. And you can follow me on Twitter at Buhlockaye, BUHHLOCKAYE.
And you can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.